banging on my truck, yelling, "What part of the body you shoot my son?" I see my apartment door open. My granddaughter opened the door, she slammed it and ran back downstairs. Because my son's eyes were in the back of his head, my other granddaughter come up, opened the door, they were handcuffing him, and he was already gone. It was not one sound, and they still handcuffed him. And I'm still yelling and yelling. I see my grandbabies come out. I said, "Where you taking my grandbabies? Give me my grandbabies." 5 of them. They said, "No, tell the parents to pick them up at the headquarters. After you kill my son, you're going to take my grandbabies." And they questioned him at the headquarters. I had to yell. My husband was in the basement. I had to bury him a year later, on top of his son. He was sickly. But he said, the 2 officers that came downstairs, one was short and one was tall. I said, "Yes." He said they were laughing after the fact, saying we finally got him out the way. We ain't got to worry about him no more. And we did a good job. And that's really messed up. The whole damn system is screwed up. Covering up is not a damn job to do. It's going to backfire your ass. And then on top of that, I go to the hospital, and I'm yelling, "Where's my son? He was just shot." I gotta go in the room with the 2 doctors. I said, "Where's my son? What part of the body was he shot?" He said "I'm sorry, he didn't make it." That's a damn lie. He died in my hallway. And they said he died on the way. My son didn't holler at all. Like George Floyd hollered for his mom. I was with my son. And he didn't holler because he was already gone. My family picks me up from the hospital, takes me to her house. Turn the TV on. "What do you say after you kill my son?" "Evan, get up there. The commissioner says the mother's a liar. She wasn't there at all." That's a damn lie. I was with my child. I wouldn't leave my child. Call for the ambulance and then leave him? No. My son, he was special. He didn't bother nobody. All he did was sit on the steps and sell his CDs and DVDs. He wouldn't even swear. He didn't have no record. I raised my kids well. Even the damn neighborhood. And it's a damn shame. They're going to use a bullet. Not even a taser. It was uncalled for. The police shouldn't even came in. It should have been somebody with the ambulance. Someone that know how to handle mental health. For black men, it's a damn shame. Mental health, they kill. Now every other damn color is a damn shame. And you don't know your job to reopen the case? Get the hell out the damn seat. These cases need to be damn reopened.
Yeah, reopened.
I went all the way to Minneapolis around this time in March. Speaking out. The Mother's March. Washington, D.C. March. Minneapolis. We all heard each other's story. And we gotta do the same stuff here. Everybody needs to come out. George Floyd's family, my prayers go out to you and everyone else that lost a child. He can holler for his mom. My son didn't even holler. He was already gone. And they still lied and said my son died on the way to the hospital. I'm not stupid. That's your damn cover up. I got my grandbabies here standing, very traumatized. And that's all I'll go talk about with them. Being on TV and things, and I'm proud of them because they're seniors, football players. They got their trophies, even my grandson. And the ones that do shit to kids, you need to lock your ass up. they mean it. Lock your ass up. And you know who I'm talking about. The cops do a crime, it's time for the damn time. Just like everybody else.
Yeah.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Thank you.
We believe in hope. We believe in hope. We believe in hope. We believe in hope.
We believe in hope.
All right, everyone. So, one of the other things we're demanding besides reopening the case of Terrence Coleman is we have a campaign that, if you're not aware of, we're trying to change the name of Peters Park to Terrence Coleman Park and demand the city rename that park.
Yeah.
There's a petition campaign going on around that. Please sign the petition, share the petition, and if you're an organization, endorse the campaign to rename the park. I want to bring up, we have Anne-Marie Grant. This is the sister of Thomas Purdy, and he was killed there by Reno police.
Anne-Marie.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. My brother, Thomas Purdy, was 38 years old when he suffered a mental health crisis at the Peppermill Casino in Reno, Nevada. He asked security for help. Security called Reno police, whose idea of helping my mentally ill brother was to put him in a hog tie, like an animal. They handcuffed his hands behind his back and connected him to his ankles. He was in the hog tie for over 40 minutes before they brought him up to the Washoe County Jail. They dumped him at the jail still hog-tied, and the deputies put him face down, prone, and killed him. I call it the police narrative of lies. They told my family that my brother just suddenly stopped breathing. We didn't know the truth until we got the videos, and videos don't lie. Believe what you see, not what they tell you.
Yeah.
My brother was asphyxiated to death, just like George Floyd, and 2 other men were asphyxiated at that jail. One 2 months before my brother, and one less than a year later. Asphyxiated to death by deputies. One man, the video went on for nearly an hour. They tortured him verbally and physically.
We got your back. We got your back.
My brother's case is no different, and these families' cases is no different. We deserve a fair review.
Yeah.
And if the DA in office isn't going to do it, we need to get their asses out and vote somebody in that is going to do it. We're not just going to vote in the next person. We need to make sure that person is going to do the job and what the community is crying out for, which is justice. Jail killer cops, reopen the cases.
Right on. Give it up for Anne-Marie and Thomas Purdy. We want that case reopened. Thomas Purdy, we want that case what?
Reopen!
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we have a few more people here. I just wanted to highlight, Shahida don't want to say anything, but in the case of Samar Rahib, his uncle was also, his nephew was also, there was a raid. He's lucky not to be in the same situation as Osama, but he's in a bad situation where they're trying to frame him up for this conspiracy charge as part of explaining why they killed Osama, who had committed a crime. And he is facing how many years? So he won an appeal of the charges that he had. It was something like 28 years. He won the appeal, so we were trying to demand that he be immediately released, basically. But he's already served what six years now of the sentence. But when he went to the judge for an appeal charge that he won, the judge increased his sentence. Have you ever heard of anything like that? No, I never heard of it. So this is a highly political case. We demand, and everybody needs to know about this case. The case of Osama Rahim and David Wright. That's why we say free David Wright. What?
Free David Wright!
What?
Free David Wright!
Yeah, so we stand with that family. I want to bring up a brother. That's the other thing. This call is getting heard, and part of this too is a lot of folks who have been affected have not felt comfortable, maybe even afraid to speak out. But more people are starting to come forward. We're getting people. I just got a call from somebody who was. He says he was brutalized by the Andover police, and that he's lost full use of his arm. It happened 20 years ago. He couldn't sue them because statute of limitations, but you know, he wants to speak out on. They're still on the force. You know, that's the point. A lot of these folks are still on the force who've been committing these crimes. They have to be addressed. So I want to bring up Cosmo Johnson. He's going to give us a. No, this is not the brother I'm talking about. I'm just talking about somebody else. But this brother is a different brother. Something happened to him. His name is Cosmo Johnson, and he was dealing with the brutality situation that happened. He's going to tell us a little bit about it.
How you doing? Listen, I suffer from mental health, and the police use my mental health against me. I suffer from mental health. Police here use my mental health against me. They use the fact that I was hurt. They use the fact that a lot of people, I didn't have a lot of people on my side. I was basically by myself. So they use everything against me, and they still harassing me. They still watching everywhere I go, where I eat, how I move, what's going on. So I'm scared, you know what I mean, for my life, and I don't want to end up like none of these brothers, good brothers. You know what I mean? And so I want to be able to stand here today and fight for my life and control my own narrative and let nobody else control my narrative for me. That's the reason why I'm standing here and speaking to the mothers and sisters and people that's in support for people that's going to fight for their life and let nobody control it. You know what I mean? And especially the police. You know what I mean? So, and I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? So I'm speaking up. So I'm definitely, you know what I mean, happy that I even got up and even did this.
Yeah.
And I appreciate y'all and God bless y'all.
Give it up for Cosmo. That's right. Yeah, we want to have each other's back, and this movement's got to get strong enough to take on a lot of these fights. So it's not just the people who've been killed by the police, people who survived those encounters too. They need help. We want to bring up Janelle. Do you want to speak? I want to bring up Janelle Ambrose. She has her own fight with the Randolph police, her own and one for what they did to her son, Christopher Davis.
Greetings, and God bless you for coming. Thank you for caring. God bless you for caring. Miles are made by inches at a time. Every person that cares is an inch. We got miles to go. We need more people on our side. Maybe they'll never experience anything like what everyone has experienced here. But they have to know they don't want to. My son, I've never even gotten a school called from the principal's office about my son. The Randolph police run him over. They ran him over. If you Google arguing while black. You don't have to believe anything I say. You listen to your own lying ears that tell the story with an audio recording of the incident that happened to my son. They run my son over. And then after 62 days of me standing there, demanding answers, ooh, scary. They jumped on top of me and attacked me and arrested me too. So after arraignment, I went back over there. They ran over my son, and I'm bothering them. They arrest me because I don't like it, but guess what? I still don't like it. And the fact is, as I move forward, it has nothing to do with what they've already done to my son. I'm going to make sure that they don't run over your son, sir. Your son. I'm going to make sure, young lady, they don't run over your son. Yeah. There's white people out there right now cannot have a child would hack off their arm to have a black son. I am going to do everything I can that if you're ever blessed with a son, a black son, that they don't run him over, that they don't choke him out, that they don't burn him up, that they don't literally kill him and accuse him of it being his fault. I can't tell you enough how warm it makes my heart to see strangers who have never and maybe will never experience this madness to come here, to understand, to feel empathy in a situation they will never face. But you remember this, white kids with black friends are in danger. When white kids are in the passenger seat with their black friend who is the driver, when the police start shooting, not one bullet will say, whoop, 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 whoop. Timmy's white. White kids with black friends are in danger. If your kids are not in danger, they have no black friends and they are racist. Both should be equally concerning.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We're all
Thank you so much. To say you've restored my faith in human beings is an understatement. There are days I feel like I am on an island called all alone. But that's not true. That's what they want me to say. I went to court on Thursday. It's been continued again. That was on purpose. And I'm going back in there, head held high, wishing they would, like a tree in there.
Give it up for Janelle, Jessica Christopher Dillons. She's basically having weekly demonstrations every Saturday, so be out there supporting in Randolph. We are about getting ready to march here, but we want to make sure we bring out the Council of Rents group to speak. So please give them some of your attention. They're going to speak. They're here in support of this action. they had one called as well, but they decided to join up with us, so give them some love.
Thank you.
So, can y'all hear me? Yeah! All right. So first of all, I think we should give it up one more time for the mothers, the family members that spoke here today. My name is Daniel. I'm representing Cancel the Rents. We had a demo today, but we felt it was necessary to cancel it in order to be here and support mass action against police brutality, to support the families, and to support their demands. The past year's movement against police brutality has again exposed the extent to which racism is embedded in policing and government in this country. The conviction of Derek Chauvin is a testament to the power of collective mass movement, and there is still much left to be done in the fight to win justice for George Floyd and all victims of police violence.
Yeah.
Including those here in Boston: Terrence Coleman, Burrell Ramsey, Musal Rahimi, Moses Harris, Junior DeVega, Justin Root, and much more. That's why we continue to be in the streets demanding jail killer cops, reopen the cases, and justice for the victims and their families. We don't get a break to grieve. We don't get a break to mourn. From one state-sanctioned murder to the next, one crisis to another, the people are suffering in a society in decay. The system was not built for us. As we are saturated with these tragic news of police murder, murder after murder, and we are submerged in bills, debt, uncertainty, threats of evictions, abusive landlords, greedy banks, rising rents, and the destruction of our beloved community landmarks and spaces. Long before the COVID crisis, we had a housing crisis. Parents had to work 2 to 3 jobs to be able to afford to live in the communities in which their families were raised in, where their loved ones live in, where their social supports are found in, while the city and the state refused to properly fund our schools, our after-school programs, and gave crumbs to families who were struggling to make ends meet. Shelter is a human right, and no one should have to work 2 to 3 jobs and still have anxiety over living expenses. When COVID arrived, it was entering a society already in crisis. It only exacerbated the crisis we already lived under, not just creating new ones. What the government of the wealthiest nation in the history of mankind should have done to keep us safe was simple. Give the people what they need to survive. Make sure that people were quarantining without accumulating rent debts, without accumulating debt to banks over their mortgages, using eminent domain to house the homeless population in the various empty homes that exist, including many of these new and empty, expensive luxury apartments. We should have also halted all deportations and provided free internet to our children who couldn't go to school. We should also mention that they should have de-incarcerated our prison population, who are extremely vulnerable to COVID. This government did not do a single one of the things I've listed. But they continue to murder our siblings in the streets for using an air freshener, for listening to music, for protesting for justice. While we have been going to bed with anxiety on whether we could continue living in our homes, you can bet your last dollar that greedy developers are excited over the prospect of a wave of evictions happening in the city. Evictions have been happening throughout the pandemic because this government is far more interested in protecting the interests of developers and slumlords and killer cops than they do the working class. When the final protection from evictions from the CDC expires on June 30th, we will witness a social catastrophe. What does a wave of eviction mean for our interactions with the police? We can look at the case of Stephanie Volken, a woman in Miami who was killed by the police while they were serving an eviction order. Or our brothers Bo Ramsey, White, and Terrence Coleman, who was murdered here in Boston, in the South End, a neighborhood with an increasing presence of trigger-happy police insecurity. Let's also not forget what was uncovered about the police department that killed Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor was murdered by plainclothes officers who invaded her home with a no-knock warrant. That raid was part of a larger effort, or a conspiracy, to evict residents who are in the way of the city's gentrification efforts in her building. The police were part of an effort to repossess the homes to displaced residents so they can continue the redevelopment of the building. When we talk about housing justice, we must remember the role of police departments and police officers play in tearing apart our communities.
Yeah.
Cancel the Rents fully supports the demands of mass action against police brutality to reopen the old cases and prosecute and jail killer cops. Thank you.
Thank you. Give it up for Cancel the Rents. So now I'm going to bring up Amo from Mass Action. He's going to tell us about another case we've been working on, Tatiana.
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! Thank you to the speaker from Cancel the Rents. I just want to talk about another case. Tatiana Elise couldn't make it today, but she's fighting against police brutality, housing discrimination, and medical malpractice, all being at the hands of BPD and her racist landlords at Nema, Boston, and Seaport. In early March, police were called on a wellness check to check on Tatiana at her apartment and entered her apartment when she wasn't at home without a warrant. Then, after reading the police report that the landlord somehow obtained from the cops, they called the police on her because she was upset that they entered her apartment without a warrant. She was assaulted in the lobby of her own apartment building in Nema by 15 Boston police officers, where they took her shirt off in public in the lobby. No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! In that assault, she was concussed. They took her to the hospital and they sedated her against her will. When you're concussed, you can't even go to sleep, let alone be sedated. So she's fighting medical malpractice, she's fighting police brutality. On top of that, she has racist landlords in Nema, Boston, while she's trying to protest for her rights against police brutality, against housing discrimination. They're pushing harassment orders on her. Her racist landlord, Bruce Menon, his wife, Julia Menon, is running for New York City Council in the 5th district on a progressive platform, trying to say that she's against racist hiring practices and racist discrimination in the housing. So we need to show up for Tatiana every single Monday and every Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Nema, Boston, and Seaport. You can read about her story on her TikTok, on her Instagram. Her handle is Tageauna, Tatiana. Her link tree with a bunch of links, including her GoFundMe, linktr.ee, like the classic link tree, /Tageauna, Tageauna. Say your name, Tatiana! Justice for Tatiana! you. Appreciate y'all. I think we're getting ready to march here, so sit tight.
Alright, so we are getting ready to march.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, man.
How you doing, Karen? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see a lot of friendly faces out here. What's going on, my man?
We have supplies we want to pass out. We're going to march through the neighborhood. Let them know. We're going to keep the pressure on. No justice, no peace. Police. Stop for coming out and listening to the families. And we're just going to keep this thing going.
Yes.
Right.
Hey, I think if y'all want to like come down. Y'all want to take this one? Mass action against.
Mic check, 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 mic check. Can we have people come up to the truck to carry banners, please? Need some volunteers to carry banners. For banners, people to carry banners and signs and stuff.